Hello friends, welcome back to my channel The Lens India Professional Photography. In our earlier videos, we have already covered the playback menu, the photo shooting menu, and as I said, I won't be covering the movie shooting menus because they are more or less same like the photo shooting menu. I'll paste the links of the earlier photo shooting menus and the playback menus in the description below. In this video, we will be talking about the custom setting menus. Since we have lot many sub options available, we won't be covering all the options in this particular video, but we will divide it between A, B, C, and D, and E, F, G. We will cover it in the subsequent video. So let's start with the custom setting menu. So the first option what we have is the reset custom settings menu. So when we want to reset the custom setting menus, so if you press this, you have two options, yes and no. If you select the yes, this will only reset the menus which we have set in this particular page. So all the settings what we have applied between A to G, so those only will get reset when we use this functionality. Rest all the camera settings will remain intact. So next is about the A, that is the autofocus. So when we go into the autofocus submenus, so we will find there are a lot many options. So let's begin with that. So first option is autofocus continuous priority selection. So when we click on the OK, we will have two options, that is the release and the another is the focus. So when we select this option as a release, so this means that even if your camera is not in focus, camera will allow you to take the photograph. And when we select this as a focus, we won't be able to take any photograph unless the subject is in focus. So usually I prefer to keep the selection as focus. Then the next option, what we have, the second option is the autofocus single point priority selection. So again, when we press this, we have the similar options like AFC, so the release and the focus. So the meaning remains same. So in this priority selection also, I prefer to keep in focus. So one thing probably you might have noticed that A1 is having asterisk and A2 is not having the asterisk. So what does it mean? So that means in case of A1 where there is an asterisk, so the default setting was release and I have changed it to autofocus in the sorry, that I mean to say is the focus. And in A2 the default setting is focus. If I change it to release, you'll see that A2 will also carry an asterisk mark. So I'll again go back to my original position of focus. The next is A3, that is the focus tracking with lock on. So focus tracking with lock on, what does it mean? So this will basically enable us to improve the focusing speed or delay the focusing speed when we are tracking particular objects. So particularly, for example, when we are shooting like animals or birds, and if they are in motion, so some object may come in between and probably that we may lose the focus on this object. So how fast response we want for this focus change. So you can make it quick or you can delay the response. So usually the default setting is 3. I have kept it as a default 3 only. The next is the focus points use. So we have two options, whether we want to use all the focus points available in the camera or whether we want to use half of the every other point. So this facility is available because like if we go and see this focus points, so if I keep on changing the focus point areas, so it will take very long time to switch from one position to another position. But the moment we keep it half and if we try to see the focus point, so you can see how fast the focus point is jumping from one position to another position. So this is the facility which is available, but usually I want to use all the points, so I will again reinstate the setting to all. Then next is the store points by orientation. So if so, we have the facility of storing the points by orientation. That is, we have, if you enable it, yes, the focus point's orientation will be saved. Now, for example, if I am currently setting my focus point into the center, and if I move it to the for example, the left hand side, and now the frame is horizontal, but if I make it vertical, you will see that the focus point has shifted to the top left corner in the vertical frame. But since the video, you will see how the focus point is changing based on my orientation of the camera. So you can keep it on if you want. So I normally prefer that when I'm changing my frame from horizontal to vertical or vertical to horizontal, the focus point should change the location. Then the next point is next function or the menu function which is available is the AF activation. So we have two options available, that is shutter slash AF on or AF on only. So this is nothing but that how you would like to focus, whether you want to do the focus by pressing your shutter button half pressed down, or whether you want to use the AF on button which is available on the back side of the camera to focus on the subject. So my practice is basically I keep the shutter slash AF on as a selected function. Then limit AF area mode selection. So this has something to do with the I button which is available on the back side of the camera. So once you press this, it will allow you to select the focusing methods like pinpoint or the single point AF or dynamic area. So which options you would like to see. So when I press, for example, the I button, and if I go and select the focus area mode, and if I rotate the sub command dial, you will see the options. So we have pin, we have single point, we have wide S, wide L, wide L for people and wide L for animal. And if I go to menu, and if I show you that this three, auto area AF and auto area AF for people and auto area AF for animals, I've disabled those. So those options were not coming in. So accordingly, you can select what you would like to select through this I button, that is the shortcut key for selecting the focus area, autofocus area mode. So this is the function which is available. So next is the focus point wraparound. So focus point wraparound is whether you want to wrap the focus points or you don't want to wrap the focus points. So what does it mean? So when we are shifting our focus point from one end to another end, if we keep it on no wrap, and now see what happens is that now my focus point is in the center. If I move it to the left hand side and if I continue to press the left arrow key or try to move it to the left, it is steady over there. It is not moving to any other direction. So if I want to move towards right, I need to again start pressing the right key to take it to the extreme end. Now in this case, suppose if I make it on or make this focus point wrap around as a wrap, so just see the difference. Now again I am bringing my focus point to the center position. If I keep on moving to the left, and once it reaches the end, it automatically shifts to the right end. So this is how is the advantage what we get by keeping this focus point in the wrap around. Then next is the focus point options. So focus point options, we have manual focus mode, that is the on and off. So usually I keep it on. And when we want to also have the dynamic area AFSs, so I keep it as on. Then the low light autofocus. So now when we are particularly we have two options, on and off in this. So I usually prefer to keep it off. So the reason why we keep it off, because this impacts the focusing speed. So this works best when we are working in the low light autofocus, autofocusing is required. But when we are shooting in the normal situation, and if we keep it on, the response to the focusing speed is little bit sluggish. So I normally, unless and until I'm shooting in the low light situation, I normally prefer to keep it off. Next is built-in AF assist illuminator. So if you keep it on, it will help you to focus on the subject when we have a low light situation. So better to keep it on. Then the EV steps exposure control, that is the exposure value exposure control. So we have two options. We can go by 1/3 stop increment or 1/2 stop increment. So usually I prefer to keep it as a 1/3 stop increment, which is a default option available. Then easy exposure compensation, we have again three options: on and auto reset, only on and off. So when we are setting the exposure and we want either to shift to the exposure to the plus or minus set by 1/3 stop, 2/3 stop, one stop, whatever it may be. So if you keep it on, so without pressing the button, you can, by just rotating the dial, you can change the exposure. If you keep it on, the option, the middle option, so it will remain to that particular position even if you switch off and switch on the camera. But if you keep it on with auto reset, again it will regain its position to the zero position, and maybe you can adjust your exposure again. So usually I don't prefer this function. I prefer to keep this function as off. Then the center weighted area. So center weighted area is something that if you are using the center weighted metering, so how much area you would like to give the preference. So whether it is 12 mm from for the center, or whether you want the average exposure. But since I'm not using center weighted metering, so this really doesn't matter for me, and I prefer to keep it the default setting at 12 mm. Then fine tune optimal exposures. So if you want to fine tune your exposures, you can keep it yes, and then particularly this function allows you that to compensate that metering by a particular stop of exposure. So for example, if you are feeling that your matrix metering is not giving you the proper result, so you can select the exposure compensation, or you can fine tune your exposure compensation right from -1 stop to plus stop with the increment of 1/6 stops. So this is how you can go to the plus and minus, and you can fine tune your exposures. But I prefer normally to keep it default values as it is, and I don't use this fine tune optimal exposure. The next is the shutter release button auto exposure lock. So we have three options. So if you, the first option is about the locking your exposure by pressing the half button. Then again you have the second option by locking your exposure in the burst mode and off. So I prefer to keep the default setting, I prefer to keep the on half press for the locking the exposure. Then self timer. So self timer, we have various options available from right from the 2 seconds to 20 seconds. Based on your requirement, you can select the self timer delays and how many shots you want. So that option also is available. So we can go from 1 shot to 9 shots. So as of now, since this is not very frequently used, so I have left it to default options. Then how much time gap you would like to have between two shots. So again, you have various options ranging from 0.5 seconds to 3 seconds. So I have left it to default for 0.5 seconds. Then the next option is power off delay. So how long you would like to keep your camera on for particular functions, like for example playback menus, when you are displaying the images, so how long you would like to keep that image on. So it ranges from 4 seconds to 10 minutes. So you can select the option what you like. So I normally keep it for 20 seconds. But the point here is, the more longer you keep the screen on, the battery drainage will be much more earlier. So again, the same is available for the menus. We have various timing options, so you can select the appropriate timing as it suits you. Then coming to the CL mode shooting speed, that is the continuous mode shooting speed. So you can take you can change it from 5 frames per second to 1 frames per second depending on your situation. Then maximum count release. So particularly this option is available when we are shooting with the continuous shooting mode, either low or high. So how many pictures you can take in the burst mode, so continuous mode. So the camera manufacturer limits us to up to right from 1 to 200 images in one by keeping the shutters pressed. So this is getting limited because see, if we by mistake if we keep on pressing to its maximum count, so there is a high risk that we can burn out our shutter. So to avoid this shutter burn problem, the camera manufacturer has restricted to maximum 200 frames, but we can still further customize it, and we can set it to the lower count. But as of now, I have kept it to default. Then sync release mode option. So sync release mode option is that if we are using the same Nikon cameras, so you can sync those cameras like we use normally with the flashes, that master and the commander and the slave mode, and you can sync the cameras to take the photograph. But since we do not normally have such situations so frequent, so hardly of any use, but as a default setting I have kept it to sync. Then exposure delay mode. So this functionality allows you to basically select the delay mode after pressing the shutter, that after how many seconds you would like camera to take the picture. This particularly is used when we are using the camera on the tripod and particularly shooting macros or very close-up shots, so that we don't get any shake and try to avoid the possibility of image getting blurred because of this shake. So you can define what are the delay mode you want based on your requirement. Then next is the shutter type. So we have three options: auto, mechanical shutter, and electronic front curtain shutter. So, but of course, when you go for the electronic front curtain shutters, there are certain limitations of the shutter speed. I prefer to go for the mechanical shutter, which is provided by the manufacturer. Then extended shutter speeds. This is basically the shutter speeds what we want to select beyond whatever the settings is available. So I prefer to keep it off, normally not used. And if you want to go into more details, you can press the question mark key available. So this allows you basically to range the shutter speeds in manual mode, decreasing the speed right from 30 seconds to 900 seconds. So usually I don't use this functionality much, so I have preferred to keep it off, which is a default setting. Then the limit selectable image area. So again, this is the functionality which is more related to the I button. If you assign this functionality, you can select the options which are available, which you would like to change by using the I button. So I have kept it default. Then file number sequence, I have kept it on so that the file number is always incremental. I would like to have that. If you keep it off and if you change the card, again in the new card the file number will start with the new number. But the risk here what we are carrying is that when we are copying the photos from card to our hard disk, so they may get overwritten. So I normally prefer to keep it on, and if you want to reset the serial numbers, you can use this option to reset. But usually the best practice what I feel is that you keep it on so that there is no overwriting of the photos and no loss of data will be there. The next is the apply settings to live view. Now this is the very important function as far as the mirrorless cameras is concerned. This option was not available in the earlier DSLR cameras, but in mirrorless this option is available. So if we have two settings, we have on and we have off. So if you keep it on, so whatever the exposure settings you are going to do, so the same will get applied to your screen, and you can see the frame becoming darker or brighter as per the exposure settings what you are doing. We need to, but particularly when we are shooting it in the studio light environment where we are shooting with the shutter speed of 1/200, that is the sync speed. So probably your screen will become black and you won't be able to see the image properly. So in such situations, we will have to keep this settings of live view off. So usually as a default setting it is on, but normally I have as a best practice to avoid any last moment rush, I have kept it off as I would prefer to see the frame through the viewfinder and at times directly through the live view. The next is framing grid display. So if you want to have the grid display on, so if I press this, so you can see this horizontal, 3 horizontal and 3 vertical lines. So this is the grid which is available. So this helps us in composing the image properly. So I have kept it on. The next is the focus peaking. So focus peaking, this works particularly when we are using the manual focus system. So we have 3 options, that is the high sensitivity, standard and low sensitivity. So I have preferred to keep it as 2. So this allows you to basically see the peaking lines when we are shooting in manual mode. So which of the area is getting in focus. So that is how this focus peaking is used. And in the same function we have 3 colors available, or rather 4 colors available. So red, yellow, blue and white. So yellow being one of the brightest colors, I normally prefer to keep it as yellow so that I can understand where the camera is getting focused, where I am focusing and how much focusing range is available. Now for this video, this is the last menu option which is available, that is the D12 view all in continuous mode. So this menu option basically is used when we are particularly shooting with the continuous frames. So if we keep it on, what will happen is that if you are looking through the viewfinder, the glimpses of the image what we have shot will keep on popping up in between while we are shooting. But when we are shooting like very fast movements, or we are shooting where the objects are not stable, so this may probably create some hindrance. So if we keep it off, and we don't want to see those images popping up in between, so we need to make it off. But while we are shooting, we will always see the black screen when the shutter is getting open to shoot the image. So that's all for today's video. In our next video, we'll continue with the settings from the E, F and G. So just to make the video short, I have divided this video into 2 parts for the custom setting menus. So if you have any questions, any comments related to this menu settings what we have seen today in this video, please feel free to comment or ask questions in the comment box so that I can answer them appropriately. So that's all for today. If you feel that this video is helpful for you, please hit the like, and if you have not subscribed this channel, I request you to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon button. Thank you so much for your time. That's all. Bye bye. Take care.